What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Vulkan, and today we have a pretty big update for the First Descendant. So this update rolled out earlier today. You can see midnight to 4 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And this one addresses a lot of things that either the community had brought up that they were upset about, or things that the developers had noticed and they wanted to address because of, gameplay implications. So I'm not going to go through and just read this thing line by line. I'll provide the link at the bottom, but what I do want to do is talk about some of the bigger ones that I know I've heard throughout the community as well as my Discord. So let's jump in, let's talk about these. So first and foremost, they added an option to turn off other players' visual effects specifically for projectile explosions. This was an absolute just bane on anybody's existence if they played in any sort of Glay Infinite launcher builds. Reason being is the entire screen would just fill up with explosions, you couldn't see anything, and it was starting to pull away the fun from players who weren't running that build. They also reduced the explosion effect and duration of the vestigial organ. And then one thing I really like is they put these director's comments throughout the whole hotfix. And this is something like, hey, here's exactly why we did it and our thought process through it. So again, referencing Glay's Infinite Launcher build became popular, but the explosion effect was disrupting gameplay. They only provided the option to disable other players' projectile explosion effects, but they said they can enhance this feature as other effects come up or if there's a big enough desire in the future. They also talked a little bit about AFK stuff. They added a away from keyboard report option to the reporting menu. Now, this is something they've been talking about quite a bit because I will say AFK farming has been an issue for the game. People are AFK farming void fragments, they're AFK farming infiltrations, they're doing the same thing for any sort of defense. They're AFK farming quite a few different things, and he goes through here and says, hey, we really kind of kept an eye on this. We don't really want to go head first, but what we want to do is make sure that we're addressing this because it's not fun. Now let's talk about some of the other big things here. They talked about where they fixed an issue where a player who joined a void fusion reactor mission could use the reconstructing device at the end, even if they did not use any void shards after completing the mission. And then to kind of compensate for that, right, we'll talk about this in a second, they also increased the amount of void shards by 1.5 times. So you can see here, when completing a void fragment mission, obtaining 2 types of void shard, the amount has been increased 1.5 times. The void fusion reactor mission tooltip has been updated to display the number of void shards. They also added the linked amorphous material to the tooltip. And then void shard attributes will now be displayed on the map correctly or directly, which is great. So this again is a great comment. Really appreciate them putting this out here. They fixed an issue where a party member's abort mission system was being exploited to repeatedly play the void fusion reactor without consuming any shards. While addressing this glitch, we also considered why players might resort to using it. And this, for me as a developer, as somebody who's in software and those type of things, this is great. Understand why the system's being abused, not just close down or prevent players from abusing it. Understand the why behind it. They realized that the transition from shard farming to actual void fusion reactor missions was inconvenient and tedious. Therefore, we not only fixed the bug, but also increased the amount of void shards obtained and improved the farming process to make it more convenient. So they said, please wait a little longer. They'll significantly improve the farming fragment routes in the upcoming week 5 update scheduled for August 1st. Now remember, the August 1st update is one of our big ones. It's where we're going to see Luna, Ultimate Valby, as well as new weapons, new modules, all of those things. Okay, so the next thing is Descendants. So here they talked about Trill Bomb and Lightning Emission for Ultimate Bunny's high voltage module will now target nearby targets rather than random targets. Allergy of Reconstruction Serum now applies to the Colossus as well. Down through the infiltration operations, you can now view mission results through Escape after completing an infiltration operation. This was something I only had to do it one time, but I was really bummed that I missed the whole kind of recap, and I wanted to see what damage I did and all those fun things, and I missed it. So being able to add it back in there and go in and actually view it, I think is a good thing. The time limit for destroying the Ironheart has been removed from the infiltration operation Fortress, Heart of the Fortress. This is a big one. I was so pumped when they announced this. So the position of immunity spheres of named monsters will not change anymore as the monsters move or rotate. So they will remain fixed and you will be able to just melt them down. Thank God. Them going through and fixing this, I think, is going to be great, and it's going to help kind of reduce that frustration that players might have. Out in the field, they updated the drop quantity on hard difficulty by 1.5 times. They updated the stack limit for consumable items from 1 million to 100 million. Also updated some icon images. I'm guessing this is in relation to your icons look like Destiny 2 icons. So we even have a director comment here that they take feedback regarding other similar games very seriously, and they're trying to reflect the unique identity of the First Descendant. So be aware that when you log in, some of your icons might look a little bit different. Then they did some optimization improvements. So if you're somebody who is really having an issue running the game, whether it was having memory leaks, whether you're having frame drops, anything like that, this is going to be something that might make the game a little bit better for you. Obviously, they're going to continue optimizing as they go forward, but this is just something to keep in mind. They also have some bug fixes down here. From a Descendant point of view, this is one I saw where you couldn't change your Descendant after completing the exclusive dungeon for the bunny quest. That's now been fixed, so you should be able to do that again. And then this one was big. Fix an issue where Bunny's lightning emission was used even if there was no moving distance when rolling over a box or a wall. So they talked about, we love how Bunny works. However, rolling around in a corner and then using her skills is not what we expected. So they fixed it. They're also detecting the use of various macros and unauthorized programs through the monitoring system, including the rolling in place macro. They're currently taking actions against those, and they'll continue to strive to create a more enjoyable gaming environment for everybody. So if you're somebody that was potentially using those type of things, please be aware that the ban hammer might be coming. So I would recommend not. They also fixed some modules here. In terms of the missions, they put some stuff out here, fixed a few things, whether it's preventing field changes, whether it's next quest not actually starting, those type of things. This is a big one. They added a director's comment to this. Fix an issue where monsters would spawn even without an actual battle in Fortress Outskirts. They said Fortress Outskirts is a popular farming area. They don't want to essentially kill that farming area. However, they do want you to actually have to play the game and not just stand still. So they maintained the spawn rate by keeping the 4 Vulgus resource storages active simultaneously, but monsters will not increase when players are idle. You will need to run, shoot, and create some explosions, and then many more monsters will continue to appear. So actually play the game and you'll still be able to farm it, you just can't stand still and farm. And then down here at the very bottom, they wanted to remind us that they're going to skip the patch next week, and they're going to prepare for the upcoming 5th week update on August 1st. We're going to have Luna, Ultimate Valby, new intercept battles, new ultimate weapons, modules, external components, and skins coming that day. So guys, this was a fantastic update. This was something I was really looking forward to. I know there was a lot of things in here that I had seen around the community that people were either upset about or they were having, issues with, like the Glay Infinite Launcher thing. So I really like they went through and they addressed those, but I also really like the comments they added in there and kind of talked through why these things were changing. You don't see a lot of studios do that these days. It's more just, hey, here's the update, deal with it. We're not going to tell you sort of why we did it until enough people make a big stink about it, and then all of a sudden, oh, here's a blog that talks about why we did what we did. I really like this where it's tied directly to that update. So that's my thoughts. I hope this update fixed something for you guys and it'll make the game even more enjoyable. Let me know what you think, and is there something out here that you were looking forward to that finally got fixed? This has been Vulkan, and I'll talk to you guys next time.